Morning, my name's Tomkinson. With Tonk's Tips, I'm going to share a bit of a story with you. It's a bit of a hallmark moment for me, as this year, if I get to go up to Cape York, it's 40 years. In 1982, I went up in a Hilux four-wheel drive with my friend Brad Evans. We left Youngaborough on the Atherton table, and it was February, and we went up to Cooktown. Took us a couple of days, few days to get up there, and we went on to Laura. And we were warned not to go by an old chap when we were filling up the fuel. So the crocodiles were nesting and the wet was about to break. And this stayed in the back of my mind. So we pulled the pin and come back. So since then, this year, if I get to go as well, it'll be the 20th trip up. Mainly fishing and holidaying. And also this year, as a hallmark too, I've been writing for this fishing mag for 17 years. Once a month. The Bush and Beach Fishing Mag. It started off with a big mag, and it's a great mag. They print my dribble. I've been a bit controversial over the years being a pro fisherman, but I haven't been proing now for 10-11 years, just recreational. But another thing I like to talk about today is battery setups. Since then, 1982, or about 87 actually, all we've ever done is run 6mm wire back from the battery to the fridge in the back of the car. We never had DC to DC charges, or we never had battery banks, even though I have today gone on from that. But all we've ever had is just a pair of 6mm wires with a 30 amp fuse. Comes up here to the battery. It runs down through the truck under the floor and pops out here. In the early days we never had Anderson plugs, never knew what an Anderson plug was, only used them in the last, I'd say, 8 to 10 years. This year I've actually gone and put another one and run it down the other side, and I've got another one in here just to bring a bit more power through, and it's the same thing. It comes here. I've got two here 31s. There's a little bit of a hack I'll show you to interrupt it, sorry. On these Toyotas, the old girls, this is a 1990, the glow plug setup and the relays and all that stop on them. It's very common, and it's quite a few $100s to get it fixed. What you do is you just run, see this 6mm wire here? You just come off the battery with a fuse, or I've got two fuses giving me 60 amps, and you run it into that wire, into the cabin here, to this press button, in and out. When it's in, it's on. When it's off, it's not on. But it's still fused. It comes through, but it comes over here and it just goes straight onto the, in there you'll see it goes straight onto the glow plug rail. And because this is a 12 volt glow plug, you just hold that button in for about 10 seconds, probably 12 in the winter, and she just heats up. Boom, away she goes. In the summer, get away with 4 or 5 seconds. Now that setup has been there 6 years now with them fuses. So I just, for the back one this time, I just tapped into here, tapped in there, and soldered into that positive wire. So it's got a 60 amp fuses. That's twin core 6mm tinned wire, marine wire, and I run it through to another Anderson plug. But in here, I'll show you in a minute, all we've ever done in the early days is just run these through into the back of the Toyotas, straight off the battery. We had the chest coal freezers earlier on, 60 litre. You'd have it running off that, start the truck first, you would, otherwise if you started it with the load of the fridge it would blow the fuse. So you start your Toyota in the morning, hook the fuse up, hook your fridge up, then at night we just rip this, if we pulled up we just rip the fridge out of the back of a tray back Toyotas, and we drop them on the ground and set them up on the gas to run overnight. Then the next day, as you're packing up, because we never used to get going that early, you just hook them back up to the power. Away you go. We never had to worry about it. And then you just disconnect them on dark, And we never had flat batteries or anything. But what I'll do here later on, and then my dad went away from that and he bought this Trailblazer, and I inherited it. It's got to be 25 odd years old and done, oh gee, could be older than 25 years old. I know it's not the oldest, but he bought that. It must have done 20 trips up the Cape as well. But it goes in here, and then I do hook up two 120 amp batteries here. But what I generally do is driving through the day, I've got no flash switchboards or anything like that. This is just a simple setup. The freezer sits here, it plugs into the batteries from the twin batteries out the front. When I'm driving through the day, it just comes off that. Then the dual batteries, well, depends on what freezer setup I've got. I could put 3 batteries in here. I just hook them up to the other one. They have no drain on them, and the alternator charges them as well. And I know they only charge up to about 80%, 85% or something, but for running the fridge overnight, that's all you need. Next day you start again, and then so when you are driving through the day, I normally have solar as well. I've cut a solar panel on the roof, so you don't need a DC to DC charger for what I'm doing, because the car alternator is putting in 80%. Then when you're driving through the day, the solar panel with the Victron controller is charging the battery up fuller. And even if you're just travelling and doing overnighters, like I'll drive when I go up the Cape, I go up fishing. I'm not a great lover of. I never have a drawer set up. Not that I hate drawers. It's just it impedes you so much. Like when you've got a drawer in here in the fridge and all this is all set up with drawers, you get up to your camp. How do you then cut a load of firewood? I can just go up there. I lay a bit of a tarp in here now, because when I get to my camp, I unload my fridges, I put them and set them up, put the batteries out, put the solar out, and if I want to go and cut a load of wood, I just fill the back of the car with wood. You limit your uses of the, and when I come home, the roof rack will come off, the batteries, everything, the fridges come out, and I've got an empty car. You're not hauling around 300 kilos and you're paying for all that fuel. When you're running around home, it's different if you've got 3 or 4 vehicles and you can set. But this vehicle to me is a multi-purpose vehicle that does everything. I could be taking the bins to the rubbish if the rubbish man misses. I haven't got a trailer. I use the boats as a trailer. But sorry, getting back on the topic, I'll show you. I'll cut this down, and I'll show you different scenarios of how I set them up and what I do. Okay, when I'm travelling sometimes, this is the controller I use. Yeah, so I just have, this will go in here like this sometimes. I'll just, look, my setups are rough, cheap and rough. It'll just go up in there, and that, for the stuff to fly over the front, just cuts it down a bit. Then when I have a solar panel on the roof, I just plug it into there, and it goes in and it charges. Like I said, I run the fridges off the truck through the day, then they'll be charging those batteries. I'll have a couple of batteries in here. I'll put them in here in a minute and show you what I do. And that all just plugs in, the solar's up on the roof, but it's going to be harder for me this trip because I've gone and bought a 3.7 metre tinny, and it's going up on the roof rack I got over there on that cage. It's going up on top, and on this trip I'm towing my 5 metre boat as well. But see, that's what I'm saying. Why do you need a DC to DC charger? You've got solar going in, topping your batteries up. Your alternator's charging them. It's I always thought you needed a DC to DC charger for in a caravan, where you're charging off your alternator. You're getting, by the time you get to your battery bank in your caravan's getting up to 12 or 14 metres away, and you put the DC charger in the pickup and charge your batteries in your caravan because you're getting voltage drop. But now they're fitting them all in the vehicles, and to me, I just can't work out why. Admittedly, if you go to lithium, it might be different, but I'm running AGMs. I'd like lithium. Anybody out there that wants to give me some lithium batteries, I'll give them a test, but there's that many people doing it these days. See, I've got these 4 AGMs I bought off another mate. And yes, I'll give Murray a plug, Murray Musling at Golflander Extreme. Murray has Golflander Extreme combo boat loaders, and also he used to build the best camper trailer with. Anyway, I'll give Murray a plug. He got those batteries at a good price for me. So over the years I have had a couple of sponsors, not actually sponsors, they were sort of cost. So I still paid for them. Everything I've paid for was never given to me except for the 2 supercharged, and these are supercharged too. And that's why I was keen for them, because Andrew Richter had organised those 2 batteries were free to me. But I did plug them and use them for, like I said, I got 7 or 8 years out of those batteries. They were the best marine batteries I'd struck, so they had 5 years in the boat, and I was pro fishing at the time, so they got used heavily and bashed. Then they had a couple of years in my camping as just camping batteries. And then I went over to these Victron controllers because I didn't like the fold out. I had the 12 volt fold out panels from a mob in Tawantin. Well, the voltage drop on that to the panel, to the batteries, was that much. I had to run my generator for hours. I just couldn't work out what it was. Anyway, as I learned about solar more and more, I then found out you take the controller off the back. I shifted that controller from the back of the panel to within a metre of the batteries. And the batteries I had were only, like I said, a couple of marine batteries and a couple of cranking batteries from the Toyota, because I was trying to run everything that would, if something happened, I had backup to start the Toyota or boats or whatever. So I never went real big on my batteries, and which was my downfall. I just didn't have enough. I'll set this up and show you what I do. And I mean, you can have it whichever way you want yourself, but this is what I do. And it's cheap, it's easy and reliable, and it works. See? You can buy these cheap boxes. This is from Bunnings. That has got jumper leads, fire extinguisher, connections, full O-ring kit for all different size O-rings when you're on the road. See, the lid's a bit buggered. Air compressor, brake fluid, your stuff to treat your truck with if you get water in your fuel. I run that anyway. Power steering, lights, straps, duct tape, inverter, things, just all your spares, spare fuel filters I run in there. Everything in there goes in that box. Now it's, what size is that? I think they're about 50 or 60 bucks, 85 litre. Now, when I'm travelling with the missus and kids, the 2 batteries go in there, and we stack, these boxes come in here, and there's got 2 fridges going here. Now, if you've got drawers in here with 1 fridge and drawers here, you can't put anything in there. You can't multi. Now, when I come home and I want to do a bucks trip with me mate, instead of having this, I'll show you in a minute, that fridge goes in and that fridge, that's all we take when we're travelling with the family. I'll put this fridge in because it'll be half full of bait. It's got me squid, me prawns for when I'm fishing. Then I'll still take these 2 fridges for when I'm up there, or probably just 1, sorry. But I'll just put this down and I'll show you what it looks like with set up. Righto. See, we take this is a 95 litre. It's a 27 litre freezer. Oh, and it snaps down to 20 below. You can have ice blocks or anything in there. 56 litre or something fridge. Needs a wipe out there. But this is just real life. Got a crisper in here. You put your... We got this little thing here I bought second hand for a couple $100. It's 55 litre. It's another Chinese fridge. Okay, and there's another option that I go. This is why I, just for me personally, don't want drawers. So this is when I'm going on a bucks party, just me and a mate, or me. I have my 600 litre Trailblazer, my 95 litre fridge, and my 55 litre fridge. And then, like I said, I just says the batteries will sit there. the 2 batteries, and I'll only be running the one fridge. So it works for me. It's been working for years. Okay, I'll leave it with you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you learned anything out of that. But, you know, this is just Tonk's tight ass tips.